Remember when your kids used to talk your ear off about everything? Now, you're lucky if they reply to a text. Maybe they say they're busy. Maybe they're short with you. Maybe you haven't had a real conversation in months, or even years. And if that stings a little, you're not alone. Millions of parents feel this shift, and it's heartbreaking. You spent decades raising this person, wiping noses, packing lunches, sitting in the stands, hoping they'd grow up happy. And now that they have, you feel shut out. But here's the thing most parents never hear. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not needy. You're not dramatic. You're not too much. You're just grieving a connection that used to feel natural and now feels confusing. Here's the good news. The rules have changed, but connection is still possible. And even better, you don't have to chase them, beg them, or become someone you're not. After speaking with gerontologists, therapists, and dozens of older parents who've rebuilt the bond, we've found 5 unexpected approaches that actually work. Without guilt, without shame, and without begging for attention. And number 3, it's the opposite of what most parents try, but it's incredibly effective. This video is for anyone over 60 who's feeling a quiet kind of heartbreak. You raised your kids, you tried to do it right, and now they've grown up, maybe moved out, maybe moved far, and suddenly, it's like the air between you has changed. They're busy, they text in short bursts. They don't ask for advice, and when they do show up, it feels like they're always rushing out the door again. You miss them, not just their presence. You miss being part of their life. Not as their caretaker, not even as their parent in the old sense. You just want to be part of their world, to laugh with them, to know they're okay, to feel that unspoken closeness again. And the hardest part? You don't know how to say it without sounding clingy, dramatic, or like you're stuck in the past. That's what we're gonna fix. These next 5 approaches are not about fixing your kids. They're about changing the way you show up in ways that make reconnection feel safe, respectful, and low pressure. You're not trying to parent your adult child. You're learning how to meet them where they are now, as adults with full lives, boundaries, and their own ways of being in the world. And when you do that, they start showing up too. So let's get into it. Here's approach number 1. Become a student, not a parent. Here's something no one tells you about adult children. They stop listening the moment they feel parented. Not disciplined, parented, corrected, lectured, fixed. Even if your intention is love, they hear it as pressure, as judgment, as, "You still don't think I can handle my own life." So what works instead? Flip the script. Ask them to teach you something. Anything. Their favorite app, their workout routine, their meal prepping system, their political views, even if you completely disagree. The goal isn't to agree, it's to listen, like a student. Psychologist Dr. Linda Gordon puts it simply. Nothing makes an adult child tune out faster than unsolicited advice. But asking for their expertise? That's catnip. This is about equality. Grown kids want to feel seen as full adults, not as oversized teens still needing direction. Here's a real example. A 68-year-old father named Michael hadn't had a proper talk with his son in over a year. The texts were dry, the calls were rushed. Nothing was sticking. One day, Michael asked his son, "Hey, I've seen a lot about intermittent fasting. You've been doing that, right? Could you walk me through what works for you?" That one question turned into a 45-minute call. His son lit up, sent over links, even offered to help his dad track progress. Why? Because Michael stopped trying to teach. He started asking to learn. That doesn't mean you have to pretend to care about every trend or adopt every idea. It just means showing interest in their world. And when you do that, when you let them be the expert for a change, they feel seen, respected, equal. So next time you talk, try this. Hey, I've been hearing about think of something they love doing, and I know you're into that. Can you explain it to me like I'm totally clueless? Let them laugh, let them teach, let them feel helpful. And watch how the wall between you starts to soften. Number 2, use the 24-hour rule for big news. Here's a tough truth. When your adult child shares something big, bad news, a crisis, a tough decision, your first instinct might be the worst response. Why? Because we're wired to fix, to protect, to jump in and say, well, here's what you need to do. But the second you do that, they shut down. They feel small, defensive, or worse, like they never should have told you in the first place. So, what do you do instead? You wait 24 hours. The next time your child says, I'm thinking of quitting my job, or we're trying for a baby, or we're moving across the country, resist the urge to react. Just breathe and say something like, that sounds like a big deal. What are you thinking? Then stop. Don't fill the silence. Don't rush in with a fix. Let them talk. Let them feel heard. This 24-hour pause signals something powerful. You trust them to figure it out. You're not rushing to control. You're choosing to connect. Ironically, the moment you stop offering advice is often when they start asking for it. Take Sandra, a retired nurse in her early 70s. Her daughter called one night, overwhelmed, saying she was thinking about leaving her marriage. Sandra's first instinct was to say, you need to see a counselor. Don't make a rash decision. But instead, she said, wow, that's a lot to carry. What's been on your mind lately? She didn't give advice. She didn't judge. She just listened. The next day, her daughter called back. Thanks for just being there. I actually do want your opinion. Just needed to breathe first. Sandra's silence wasn't distance. It was trust. And that's the magic here. You're not ignoring the problem. You're creating space for them to feel respected. So next time the big stuff comes up, wait. Give it a day. Let them be the adult. And when you finally speak, they'll actually want to hear it. Number 3, host no-guilt gatherings. If your invitations get met with silence or a polite, I'll let you know, you're not alone. Parents often assume their adult kids don't want to come over. But here's what researchers at the University of Michigan found. It's not the visit that feels heavy. It's the expectation that comes with it. Cook a big meal, stay for hours, bring the grandkids, be cheerful the whole time. No wonder your kids start dodging invites. They're trying to protect their own energy. So how do you shift that? Host a no-guilt gathering. Next time you invite them, try something like this. Hey, if you're free Saturday, I'd love to see you, but no pressure at all. We'll just order takeout so nobody has to cook or clean. Come comfy. That's it. No guilt, no effort, no expectations of the perfect visit. And here's the secret. Removing pressure makes people more likely to say yes. In fact, studies show that when visits feel low stakes, adult children are 3 times more likely to come and stay longer once they're there. Take Louie and Brenda, both in their late 60s. They hadn't had a real visit from their daughter and her kids in over a year. Then Brenda tried something different. She texted, "We're doing pizza on paper plates Saturday. Open invite. Come in sweats, come late, leave early." Or just swing by for 5 minutes. Their daughter showed up with a bottle of wine and zero stress. Now it's become a monthly thing. No schedules, no pressure, just presence. And here's the part that matters most. Your grown kids want to feel welcome, not obligated. They want the door open, but they need the freedom to step through it on their own terms. So let go of the need to host. Be the soft place to land, not the schedule to follow. Offer ease, offer warmth, offer paper plates and takeout. And let the relationship breathe again. Number 4, text like a friend. Let's be honest, some of the texts we send our kids sound like assignments. Call your mother. Why haven't you responded? Are you alive over there? We mean well. We're joking, sort of. But to your grown child, especially one juggling a career, family, or just mental overload, it doesn't always land that way. It reads like pressure, like guilt, like homework. So here's a better way. Text like a friend, not a parent. That means shorter, lighter, unexpected, and most importantly, expecting nothing in return. Try this. Send a meme that made you laugh. A headline you know they'd care about. A song lyric that reminds you of them. Even just saw this and thought of you, no need to reply. That last line is gold. No need to reply. It lowers the stakes. It says, I'm thinking of you, but I respect your space. A recent study on adult-child-parent relationships found that low-pressure contact, like a short text without expectations, builds connection over time better than long, guilt-loaded messages. One dad in his 70s started texting his daughter a photo every morning. Just one thing from his walk. A squirrel. A funny bumper sticker. A weird cloud. She rarely responded, but after 3 weeks, she texted back. I've been showing these to my coworkers. Everyone looks forward to them. He had no idea. He thought he was being ignored. Turns out, he was part of her day. And that's the point. You're not trying to start a conversation. You're leaving breadcrumbs of love. Tiny reminders. I'm still here, still paying attention, still smiling when I think of you. They might not respond right away, but they see it, they feel it, and one day they text back. Not because they have to, but because they want to. Number 5, redefine what close looks like. Here's something most parents aren't told. Closeness doesn't always look like it used to. When your child was 10, closeness was bedtime stories and Saturday mornings at the park. When they were 16, maybe it was arguing about curfews, but at least you were talking. Now they're 30, 40, maybe older. They have their own lives, their own stress, their own families. And for many parents, that shift feels like distance, like something precious is fading. But here's the truth. Closeness changes. That doesn't mean it disappears. Therapist Mark Sanders puts it this way. At 25, closeness might mean weekly dinners. At 35, it might just mean knowing they'll call you if there's an emergency, and you'll drop everything. It's not about how often they call. It's about how safe they feel with you when they do. Some adult kids check in every day. Others? Maybe once a month. That's not always a sign of love lost. Sometimes it's a sign they feel secure enough to just live and know you're still there. But if the goal is to feel more connected, it helps to shift the metric. Instead of asking, why don't they call more? Try asking, when they do reach out, do they feel heard? Instead of, we used to be so close. Try, what does closeness look like for them now? And how can I meet them there? Take Diane, a retired teacher whose son rarely calls. She used to feel hurt, wondering if he was pulling away. Then she realized he always reaches out when he needs advice on big life stuff. He trusts her judgment, values her opinion. That's closeness too, just in a different shape. So take a breath. Release the old picture. Make space for a new one. Because closeness isn't about frequency, it's about feeling known and being there when it counts. And sometimes, that's more powerful than daily phone calls ever could be. So maybe your relationship with your adult child doesn't look the way it once did. Maybe it's quieter now, less frequent, less predictable. But that doesn't mean it's broken. Because when you stop measuring connection by how often they show up and start noticing how they show up, you begin to see something softer, but just as real. And that brings us to something important. What do you do with all of this? If you've been feeling the sting of distance between you and your grown child, you are not alone, and you are not powerless. You don't need to beg for time, guilt them into visits, or wait by the phone wondering what you did wrong. Because this isn't about doing more. It's about doing things differently. Let's recap. Ask them to teach you something. Let them feel like the expert. When they open up, wait 24 hours before offering advice. Let trust grow. Post low-pressure get-togethers. Make it easy to say yes. Send texts that expect nothing. Just small reminders that you're thinking of them. And most of all, learn to see closeness for what it is now, not just what it used to be. You're not changing your child. You're changing your side of the pattern. And that changes everything. So here's your challenge. Pick one approach, just one. Try it this month. You don't have to get it perfect, you just have to start. And if this video made you feel seen, if it gave you one idea you want to try, share it with another parent who needs to hear this too. Let them know they're not failing, they're just in a new chapter. If you want more videos like this, gentle, practical, and rooted in real-life strategies, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. And tell me in the comments, which of these 5 approaches are you going to try first? I read every one, really, because you showed up here. You care. You're trying. And that means you're already closer than you think. See you in the next insightful video made just for you.